Hello ladies and gentle ladies, welcome back to another railroad development stream. Today we're going to be continuing working on the Java parser, of course, so that is going to probably be the next couple of streams, if not the next few streams for a while. But I think we're going to be working on the actual parser today. Last time we did just finish off a bunch of the AST nodes, but I think we've done all of those now, so I think we're ready to move on to the parser itself today. I'm just trying to get everything open that it needs to be open, which is quite a few things, actually, surprisingly enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch views. There we go. So, I will say between last stream and now, I have added these nodes here, which are kind of not actual nodes you would use, but obviously they exist in the code, right? There are normal kind of tokens, and then you've got white space, line comments, block comments, java.comments. Just because we're going to want those, so I might as well have them, to put it simply enough. Now, I thought last time we started parsing modules, but I guess not, because that is the plan. Oh, I remember. We had an issue with the Lexa, didn't we? Because the Lexa had an issue because the Lexa did a look ahead somewhere. Where is it? But the look ahead would actually move the position, if I recall correctly. It'll be at the very bottom. Very bottom. Consume, no. No, it was the next token method, wasn't it? I think. It was. Where is it? Yeah, this one. So next token actually like produces the next token, which is fine. I think this isn't the issue, but it's where this is used, which is fill buffer, which is here, I think. Is that correct? I need to fix one thing before we get started, and that is that Botrix is not working. I don't know why. Which means you don't have chat on screen. Let's see if I can quickly fix that. So I don't know why that's the case. Oh, it may have just kicked in. Just as I said that. Yeah, I think literally as I said that, it may have just popped up. It's just popped up. Okay, perfect. What font are you using in IntelliJ? I think it's just the default. Oops. That is not the button I meant to press. I wanted to go... settings. I'm pretty sure that it's just JetBrains Mono. Where can I find the font? Font. No, it's not that. I'm looking for the editor font. Where's the editor font? It is... oh yeah, there you go. JetBrains Mono. That's what I thought. And then the actual... yeah. That's the font I'm using. With ligatures enabled. Which means I can do double equals and it does that. Or not equals and it does that. Which is nice. Yeah, so I think this isn't going to work, but I think we're going to try it anyways. Because that's all we can do, really. So we need to pass compilation unit. And then we're going to create a method to do this. Now in here, we're going to try and pass a module compilation unit. Let me quickly do this. I just need to get the YouTube thing up on my stream browser. Because I'm currently not signed in for that. Bugger, I don't know the password. It's gonna take me a second then, isn't it? Let me quickly try and find this. Oh, one thing I wanted to get your guys' opinion on is, do you think it's worth me getting a new mic? I've been looking at this mic called a Shure MV7, and apparently it's a really good mic that lots of like streamers and people use, but it's like £250. I've been considering it. I have been genuinely considering it. Okay, there we go. Live streaming. How the hell do I find live streaming? Because this mic isn't very good, right? The mic that I'm using right now. It's just not. It's just not a very good quality mic. Yeah, there we go. Now I've got the stream up. Perfect. So that's kind of why I've been looking at getting a new mic. But it's like spending 250 quid to get a mic is Because the thing is, this mic that I have right now, this cost me like 30 quid. That was it. It was like 30 quid. I don't think it was anything more than that. It might have even been less, to be honest. Which is why I want to kind of spend a little bit of money and get a good mic, like an actual decent, high quality mic. Hello, Soyabim. Welcome to the stream. I'm still probably butchering that. Hello. Okay, why can I not say that word? Eternal? Eternal. Wait. Okay. I may be dyslexic. Welcome to the stream. What career did you study to learn all of this? I studied software engineering, but that didn't really help me with any of this because already knew this before I went to university. So, maybe try spelling Suhaib. Suhab. That does not help me. Suhaib. Suhaib. Suahib. 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 Suhahib. Suhaib. Suhaib. I can't say that fast. I don't think I'm saying that right. Suhaib. 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 I can't, man. There has to be a word for just like when you're dyslexic, but you're just able to actually say it rather than read it or spell it. There has to be a thing for that. Suhaib. What did software engineering taught you? Nothing. The thing is, I went to university, right, for software engineering. But the thing is, I already knew every single thing they taught me for the entire 3 years that I was there. So for me, going to university was just to get the piece of paper that said I'd been to university, rather than going to university to learn stuff, because I didn't learn anything. Whereas I don't think that's the same with most people. In fact, I think that's very much not the same with most people. But I kind of already knew that going into university. So, but how did you learn all this? I mean, just experience. I don't know what to tell you. Just time, programming, right? Coming up with things that I need to program. Modding, primarily. I mean, that's what I did for the longest time. I didn't really do anything other than modding. I'm just having a look real quick. Because I asked ChatGPT about modules, because I don't understand modules. And I can't find the chat. Because I don't know how modules work. You can actually search the chats, can't you? I think it uses AI to actually search the AI chats, which is kind of crazy. Is it this one? No. Which college? I probably said on my Discord, but I'm probably not gonna say publicly, just in case. I don't know. It's like not an extremely large city, so you know, if you want to find it, you can probably find it, because I probably said it. Well, I have said it. But yeah. Do you have work currently? No, I am looking for jobs, but I have not found one yet. No one wants me, man. No, it's just there aren't many junior positions, and basically I'm not going to get into a position that's not a junior position because you need experience. The problem with jobs is literally you need experience for the jobs, which means, you know, you're kind of fucked because every job needs experience, but you can't get experience without getting a job. But the jobs need experience, so you have to find one that lets you in, basically, which is pretty hard to do. Okay, I'm looking at this one. Ah, I found it. I found the one that explains modules to me. So it can start with either open or module. So I need to know what the node is, which is match, I think. Match actually advances, which isn't really what I want. Right? I don't think I want to instantly advance. Modules as in Java 9 mod? Yes, modules as in Java 9 modules. Like new module info. Right, and then I can do like open, and I can do like requires, you know, whatever. Requires transitive, requires static, I think there is. You got exports, you got opens, you got uses, you got provides, and provides with, apparently. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but that's kind of modules, yeah. What is your PC specs? Not good ones. I have my GPU's decent. It's not amazing, but it's decent. It's a 3060, and then my CPU is, I don't know what my CPU is. How do you find that? I forgot. What's it called? System information. Is this gonna dox me? I don't know. I don't know what this shows. I have a Ryzen 5 3500X, and I have 32 gigs of RAM. I mean, that's all you need to know, right? Oh yeah, task manager. I could have just gone task manager. That's true. Forgot about that. I always forget the task manager shows that because I never use that. Anyways, so modules. We need to look for a thing. I actually don't know how you do. Like, do you want to do a match? That would be a great question, I think. Okay, you know what we should create, actually? You're such a hardware noob. I am. I'm terrible with hardware. I don't know shit about hardware. Like, at all. I really don't. Hardware is just not my thing. Software, I'm perfectly fine with. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some span methods. Some protected span. This should probably be abstract, actually, though. Which will be like here, or like current span. A protected abstract span. Span from, so we can like start from a span. We probably want a protected abstract span between I think that's probably it. We should write Java docs, though. No, this returns the current... No, this is not correct, Copilot. This is not what it's for. it returns the current position of the parser as a, and then you can link right at link span. And then, hello, Copilot? Guess I'm doing this myself. And then, there you go. Okay, that will do. So that'll give me the current span. So I can do span, current span. I need to implement those methods though. Wait. I actually can't do that, can I? Because I don't have that information. Oh no, I do. I have that from the Lexa, actually. So those don't need to be abstract. Span between start, current, yeah, sure, whatever. Span, we can do Lexa dot offset, Lexa dot offset, Lexa dot line, Lexa dot column. Man, jobs are amazing. I have experience, but I still can't find a job as a teen like in my I mean, I think you're going to struggle to find a job as a teen, I can't lie. You might be able to get a summer job working at, like, you know, like Tesco's or something, but, you're not going to get anything proper, realistically. What is this? No, this is just start dot offset, start dot pause, end dot end pause, and then start dot line, start dot column. I think that's correct. Okay, sure, that works. So that gives us the kind of current, or like the initial span. Then we need a way to read, basically. So let me... We have do we have expect? Yes. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, so we can expect that there will be... The thing is, we can't expect anything because there might not be. Let me look at expect real quick. Yeah, see, that advances, which isn't ideal. It's not what we want. We can do look ahead. Yes, we can do look ahead. I think we need to rewrite some of the parser. Because we don't have any way to see what the next token is. And we really should. Oh, I guess something like match actually only advances if it matches it, right? So I guess we actually can use that. And expect is actually the same. So it looks ahead, then it advances, else it reports an error. So we don't want expect because that's not correct. We want to match, and we want to match multiple. Do we have a match for multiple? We have match any. That's not what I want. Well, actually, no, that is what I want, isn't it? Is that what I want? Yes. Yes, that is what I want. So, if match any, the problem is that it advances. Which I actually don't want it to advance because... Yeah, I actually don't want it to advance because then I don't know what it was. Actually, no, I do because I can get the previous. So that's fine. Yes, so I can do match any. And then I can match for token, Java token type dot open keyword and Java token type dot module keyword. So if match any, that should really be a boolean, no? I guess not, technically. So I should really have that then. I should really have public or protected, I guess. Boolean. Next is, and then just do like t dot 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 types. So that does a look ahead, and then if that equals that, then it returns true. Wait, do I already have next is? I do. Where? Where? Oh, there. That would have been good to know. I probably should have checked, to be honest. Didn't even think about it. Next is. Yeah, so let's change this to next is any. Because that's what it is, right? It's checking if it's any of these. Then what we can do, we can get the current, so token first token is equal consume. Do we not have consume? Oh, it's called advance, isn't it? I'm not a fan of that. I'd like to call it consume. Well, no, we'll call it advance. That's fine. If first token dot type is equal open, then we pass compilation unit. No, that's not correct. I mean, yes, that's correct, but this else statement is not correct. So if the first token dot type is equal to Java Java token type dot open keyword, then what we want to do is we want to expect that the next token, right, will be module keyword. Expect module after open. And then, yeah, that's fine. So then what we can do is return parse modular compilation unit. We actually kind of want to do that either way, don't we? Because expect will consume it, I believe. But we need, I guess we need to know. What I can do is I can do a token of Java token type, and I can say module token, and then I can say if advanced.type is equal open keyword, or I can actually just do match open keyword, right? Then we expect that, so then we do module token is equal that, actually this is fine, isn't it? Because then we set it to the first token, and then we say no, that wouldn't work actually. Just trying to think. So we set it like that. Okay, let's run through this real quick. So if the first token basically is one of these, right? So it's either a open keyword or a module keyword. Then I don't think this is the best way to do this. I think this isn't ideal here. And we would be better off okay, Copilot, please stop trying to write comments, bro. Like they're not helpful. Because ideally we want to just consume whatever the first one is. But the fact is it might not be what we expect it to be. Question. Can modules have annotations? Because if they can, that would kind of throw this off. Actually, that's actually a very important thing to know. I don't think they can, but fuck. No, that's not good. They can have annotations. You know what they can also have? Comments. I think this is more complicated than I anticipated. Because they can have comments, they can also have block comments. They can probably also have Java docs. Yep, they can have Java docs. Can they have like things inside the comment, inside the annotations? Yes, they very much can. Inside the inside the annotations. Okay. That's fun. Not what I want anyways. Okay, so the first thing we need to read would be a comment, right? You know, I think comments are actually going to be the hardest thing. I can't even lie. They actually are. They're going to be the hardest thing. I mean, right now, I think we're just skipping comments anyways. Right? Like, I'm not adding comments in here. I don't have a read comment, do I? I do. Interesting. Which is pulled here, which is pulled here. And what I don't have in here is white space. Bugger. Have you heard of Java Parser? It's a parser for Java written in Java. Yes, and it is terrible. Oh my god, Copilot, please stop. If you're not going to be useful, then I'm not going to use you. I think we've just got to come up with how we want to do this. Because I could just ignore comments. I thought I did that somewhere. Comment. Wait, no, trivia. Aha! This is what I was looking for. I wanted to know if I skipped them. And I do. I skip trivial tokens. Let me add a to-do. Keep trivia tokens later on. Which probably will mean rewriting a lot of things, but make a 4 in 4 for the 4 in the 4? What? What do you mean? What does that mean? I don't know. Oh my god. Right. You know what? If you're not going to be useful to me, then I'm not having you enabled. Simple as that. Okay, we need to pass annotations first. If we're skipping comments and we're skipping white space, we need to pass annotations. So, well, we need to at least know what we have, right? So we need to say if next is any, right? If it's a Java token type dot at Java token type dot open keyword and Java token type dot module. Okay, then we need to grab the annotations. So list of annotations is equal to a new array list, which will just hold a list of annotations, and then while we match a Java token type dot at, right, because that's immediately going to hit an at, or it won't hit an at, right? Then we will go ahead and say annotations dot add, and then we will pass the annotation. like that. Okay, then what we can do is we can add a boolean for whether or not it's open. So boolean is open is equal match Java token type dot open keyword. That will match and advance if it's an open, else it just won't, right? Which is fine. Then we need to know if the next keyword is a module. So if next is Java token type dot module keyword, then we can pass the module declaration, right? So we can do module declaration. Is that a thing I have? Is that not what I called it? What did I call it? I don't know. Module compilation unit? Modular compilation unit? Aha. Modular compilation unit. Okay. Module is going to be equal to pass modular compilation units, which will take in the annotations and is open, and also the span. As well. So current span, which will be the start span, basically. And then we just return that, actually. And then we can say else if is open. Then we can say expect Java token type dot module keyword, comma. The thing is, this returns the token. Which kind of throws everything off. I guess we just do return that token, right? We return expect. Copilot, you can come back for writing this error message for me. After open, there you go. It doesn't like that. Provided AST, required type AST no provided token. Right. Wait, what? Why does it return? Do we have no. What I can return actually is a new generic token. Is that what I called it? Or what did I call it? Generic. I called it a Lexa token. Lexa token. This is probably not exactly what I want it to actually do. Why is that complaining? Okay. That's fine. So we can pass the span That's not gonna work. So I need to do this first. Expected span span is equal span from the current span, which is actually the start span. Wait, no, we don't want to do this though. Do we? Do we? Yes. No. Kind of. Does everything... You know, we can try this actually. If I create this, and then I do like open public class main. Okay, yes, everything does kind of just break. So what we're saying is expected module keyword after open, which is correct. So then this takes in the span, the expected token, and then also the text, which is just module, right? Or open. Well, I don't have a way of getting the text for this one, admittedly. So why is this complaining? I don't know. Do I need to do that? Why is it complaining on me? What do you require? T-extends enum. Right. What's wrong with that? Expected is that. Oh, it wants the type, not the token. I see. Is that correct, actually? I think it probably does want the token. No? I guess maybe not. I don't think this is ideal. To do... Come back to this. It's... jank. Okay. Now... else we just fall through, right? But the problem with that is that we're taking all the annotations. We're just stealing them all. I guess that doesn't matter, because you can't have annotations before before a package, right? Or can you? Can you? If I do this, that's deprecated. Kind of. Kind of. Ah, this is a pain, man. I need to do this separately, I think. Let's have a list of annotations is equal to a new array list. If next is at, then what we're going to do is do this. Hello, Wide. Welcome, welcome. Next is any, like that, which gives us the annotations here. And it will be down here as well. If next is a module keyword, which matches is open. I'm so confused. I thought I had it, man. I thought I had it. And now I'm just confused again. Bro, I don't know. Yeah, so, okay. We check for annotations. We have to do this. This is like #1 priority because there could be annotations at the top. What's happening in the stream? We are still working on the parser wide. This is going to be happening for a very long time. Okay, we're past annotations, right? Then we see if is the next token the open keyword or a module keyword, right? Have you had a nice busy day? Not really, no. I haven't really done much today. I mostly... What have I done today? I have actually been doing things. Don't know what. Oh, I've mostly been doing Industria today, I think. I've been working on... Yes, I have. I've been working on the multi-block stuff today. Don't forget to drink water, guys. Yes, everyone, make sure you are drinking water. Stay hydrated. I will drink some water to also stay hydrated. 30, you love waffles, right? I do love waffles, yes. Waffles are great. Well, actually, it depends. Are you talking about potato waffles or non-potato waffles? I mean, actually, I like them both, so it doesn't really matter. But I prefer the non-potato waffles. Unless they're, like, well cooked. Because otherwise, I don't know. They're both pretty good. Okay, let's rethink this. So, we do need to match annotations. So, let's rename this. So this is like the leading annotations, right? So, we match it. We can just do, you know what we can do? We can do this. No, not this. No, this is not what I meant to do. What I meant to do was while next is at, then we match it. And then we add that to the leading annotations. And then if the next is the open keyword or the module keyword, right, that's fine. And we get is open. Let's not do this. Let's take this and let's invert it. So if not, next is any Java token type dot module keyword. If that's not the case, then let's do that. Else, so else meaning basically the next one is the module keyword. What's happening with the brackets here? What is happening with the brackets? Oh, because this doesn't have an open bracket, that's why. Okay, so else we want to pass the modular compilation unit, right? So we can say AST node compilation unit. Then we want to yeet the semicolons, right? So while match Java token type dot semicolon, don't do anything. And then if we are not at the end, because at that point we should be at the end, then we're going to report an error. And we'll say no. Actually, Copilot can figure this out. Unexpected token after end of modular compilation unit. Sure, that's fine. And then while we're not at the end, we can advance. Like that. And then return compilation unit. Why is this complaining? While statement has empty body. I know it does, but I want it to do that. Can I not do that? How do I get it to just not complain at me for this? While occasionally intended code is confusing as often the result of no, it's not the result of a typo though. How can I make this not complain at me? I could say I don't know. I think that's fine. Okay, we have to actually deal with we have to deal with package infos as well. But we haven't done that yet. So we'll skip those for now, and I think we'll actually start with what we have. So let's try and pass an annotation first, which I think will actually be quite easy, maybe? I think. So we can have a private AST node pass annotation. Let's get rid of Copilot because it's gonna be annoying. Okay. So here we are consuming the @ symbol. Okay. So what we can then do is we can expect that we have an identifier, right? So Java token type dot identifier. I guess we would have identifiers and dots though, wouldn't we? Would we? Could do. Possibly. So we could have... we need... The thing is, we do need to keep this. We need to keep things. That's kind of the problem. Let's look at the go to implementations. So we have a span, we have a name, and an expression. Sure. And then if we look at normal annotation is span, name, and an array of annotation element, which is nice and simple too. That's just a span, a name, and an expression. These are going to be kind of complicated, huh? Let me I'm actually curious, did I have annotations in my language? No, I didn't. I did not. I can't look at that. The annotations are kind of a pain, huh? Because they're actually a little more complex than you'd expect them to be, I think. I would say what we do is we say list of name, which is the... Wait, no, a name has parts, right? Yes. So what we should say is name, and then... Or, no, we should have a list of string parts is equal to a new array list. And then what we do is we say while next is any Java token type dot identifier or a match identifier, right? Then we check to see if there's a dot. So if next is any Java token type dot or if match dot, then we do no, we don't just want to consume the identifier though. So we actually do want next is any. Then what we do is we grab it. So we grab how do we do this? We say token identifier is equal match Java token type dot identifier, not match, it's just advance, sure. And then if we match a dot, well actually it doesn't matter if we match a dot, but if we match a dot, then we continue. So then we do parts.add identifier dots lexeme, I think. And then I guess this should be, instead of advanced, we should expect a Java token type dot identifier, and then say expected identifier after dot. I think. Next is any dot match dot else break. Yeah, that's correct. But we should probably split this out rather than actually having this in here, because we're going to want this a few times. So let's do... We can actually just directly return a name here. Pass qualified name. Yes. Yeah. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So we have a name, which is that. We have a list of parts. Let's just go through this. List of parts. But it has to start with an identifier, though. So we should actually do this straight away. Right? Identifier, and we expected identifier. I think just identifier expected. That's what IntelliJ says, right? Identifier expected. And then parts are add identifier.lexeme. And then while... Yes, and then what we can do is we can get rid of this. So then we can say match dot. Right? Then we can expect a new identifier and add that. And then finally we can return the name, which needs the span. So I can do span, start span, and then I can do span, end span, equal span from start span, new name of end span parts, which means I can actually just do that. Let's just clean that up a little bit. This is just start, actually, is a better name for that. So then all I need to do in here is I have the name. So name is equal pass qualified name. If we then match a open parenthesis, that's fine. Then we want to actually, if we don't match one, then it's just a marker annotation, right? So we can just return a new marker annotation. And we can do span from, so we can do start, start. And then we can do span from start, name. Boom. That's a marker annotation done. then we can expect that the next token will be a left parenthesis, right? Or actually, yes, we can do that if we don't match it. So if we do next is any, then that's fine. Is that fine? Next is any. The thing is that won't consume it. So, oh no, we don't need to consume it. Oh, because we're saying if it's not an open parenthesis, so we don't consume it, that's fine. Then we expect it to be an open parenthesis, right? So we expect Java token type dot open parenthesis. And we say expected that after annotation name. And then we can check if it's a closing parenthesis, right? So that would be something like at deprecated, like that, which you can technically do. So if next is Java token type dot close parenthesis, then we'll just skip it, and I guess it's just a normal annotation. It's not a marker annotation, right? So span from start, we give it the name, and then we give it list dot of. It doesn't like that because it's just an array, apparently. I don't know why I made it an array. It's kind of weird. Should we not do that? Add all elements. There we go. I don't know why I made it an array. Arrays are just a pain to work with. Dude, it's so annoying that Discord is completely banned in Turkey. Discord's banned in Turkey? I did not know that. I know a lot of people on Discord that are from Turkey. Well, I say a lot. I know of quite a lot of people. Probably like 10 or so people that are from Turkey on Discord. I guess VPNs must run rampant in Turkey, huh? I mean, that's what it is nowadays, right? Yeah, and Roblox is banned too. I mean, Roblox being banned is based. I don't know what to say. That's actually a good thing, but, you know. Gonna be the UK soon too, with the way they're going. Yep, probably. It probably will be. The internet is becoming more and more censored. Which means VPNs are gonna get more and more money. So I mean, that's what they're leading to. Okay, what we could do with doing... We need to know if we have an equals before the right parameter, right? Because otherwise it's two different types of expressions we could have here. I mean, I don't give a fuck about Roblox, but I want to see the Discord chat. I mean, man, just get a VPN. I don't know what to tell you. Get Molvad or PIA or, you know, I even like NordVPN or something would probably work fine. It's obviously just, you know, more expensive, so not really worth doing. But like Molvad's like £5 a month, I think. It's cheap. And they have very good privacy things, so that's what I would do, personally. Even though I'm sure your government, if they have banned Discord, probably have VPNs illegal. So legally, I'm not recommending you do that. But, you know. So we need to know if we have equals before or comma or close parenthesis. Is that correct? Yes, commas as well would be correct, I believe. So then what we want to do is we want to pass the element, right? So what did this try to do? It passed the expression. Well, I have an annotation element, so I would use the annotation element. So value will be pass annotation element, and then we expect the right parenthesis to close the annotation, and then we just return a single member annotation. And it wants the value to be an expression. I don't know if that's correct. I don't think it should be an expression. What is a annotation element? A name and an expression. I think this should be... There's a VPN that's $2 a month. There probably are. Yeah, there probably are cheaper VPNs as well. They obviously won't be privacy focused, right? Like something like Molvad has no locks at all, so that's why it's a little bit more expensive, because, you know. And obviously it won't have things like port forwarding if it's cheaper, but to be honest, you know, you're not getting it for port forwarding, so that's not really an issue. And you'll probably find that obviously cheaper VPNs have less locations, so you probably won't be able to go, you know, everywhere. Whereas with like Molvad or PAA or just the bigger VPNs, you can do that. I'm gonna call this the value. Wait, actually, this has a name, so I don't need the name then, do I? Oh, but I do need the name, because the name comes from the value. So I can actually still kind of do that, because I can just return value.name. And then that allows me to pass in the value. Wait, no. Oh, no. It does need the name, because the name is the name of the annotation, and then the value is the value of the annotation. Okay, I got a little bit confused. I thought it was talking about the name inside of the element, but it's not. It's not talking about that, so that's fine. Okay, now in the else case, we have to be able to pass a lot of things, right? So we have a list of elements. Oh, it wants to do a do while. Let me think about this. Do we actually want a do while? We do, don't we? Because what we want to do is we want to pass the element whilst we match a comma, right? Because we're saying like at deprecated, right? Since blah, comma, for removal equals true. So there's always going to be that first one before the comma. So that's when you use a do while, right? So while we match a Java token type dot comma, and then we're just going to pass this annotation element. So let's create a span is equal current span. This is trying to pass a qualified name, but I don't think you can have a qualified name here, right? I think this has to just be an identifier, because it's like a method name, right? So that's fine. So what we can say is we can say string identifier is equal identify expected identify an animation element, and then we can just grab the lexeme. Then we want to expect the equals afterwards, and then we can pass the element. It's always funny when there's a line like span equals span.span. Where do you see that? I don't see that. I mean, it's pretty rare to have something like that. Because when would you get a span from a span? You know? It just doesn't really happen. When would you get anything from itself? The only time you would, I guess, do that is if you had like a... Like the closest you could do to having something like that in like general code would be like node is equal node.parent. I mean, you could have like node.node if it was like a weird ass node, but like, I don't know. Or you can have span, like you could have span is equal something dot span. It wouldn't be span dot span, but you know. Anyways, we expect an equals, and then we do annotation element. We'll pass the annotation element. Yeah, that's fine. Well, no, we're actually passing the value here, aren't we? I just realized this is also incorrect because we're not passing the element here. We need to pass the value. So something like expression value is equal pass expression. It does not like that. Minimum precedence level. Well, we need to really pass an annotation element value anyways. It's not just an expression. So we'll have that. And then this is the expression value. And then we can do... We want to add a new annotation element span from the span. We need a name instead of the identifier. Is that correct? Yes, but that's not actually correct, is it? I don't think so. Like, this shouldn't be a name. This should be a string. I guess it could be a name. Because the thing with a name is obviously it allows us to have a span, right? So, sure, we'll do that. We'll do a new name, and then we'll do span from the span. No, the start, sorry, which is yeah, span from span, and then it needs a list of the identifier, and then the value. Name is already defined. Oh yes, this is element name. Hello? Alright. We'll do that. And then what we can do is we can do span name span is equal span from span, right, which would then mean that this could use the name span. Okay, perfect, okay. That's fine. It's a bit jank, but it's fine. Expect the equals, boom, boom, boom. This actually can go up here. So then we have all the name stuff up here, right? So this is the name, then we have the equals, then we have the value, then we create it. Or add it, I should say. And then finally we need to expect a right parenthesis. So close parenthesis, create the normal annotation. I think that's all of that. So this is complaining because it wants an annotation element. No, so this isn't correct. So this needs to take in the expression value. Perfect. That's fine. Okay. Now obviously we need to be able to pass this, right? So we can try and do that, but I think we're going to get stuck pretty quickly doing this, but we can try. So private expression pass. So first of all, we need to match for an annotation. Let's turn Copilot off real quick so it doesn't do everything for us. So we need to match for another annotation because we can say like value is equal at, right? So we would look for an at beforehand. So if match Java token type dot at, then we're just going to return pass annotation. That does return an expression though. Okay. Okay, what we could do... Do we have the annotations somewhere? Like all of the annotation thing. Are they in class? Oh, right there. Literally right there. So I want to create an interface, which will be an element value, which extends AST node, I guess. Not that that's super important. And I'm just going to say that this permits a couple things. So this needs to permit annotation. It needs to permit the array thing, array initializer, element array. What did I call it? Generic array initializer. Array initializer. Why is it complaining? Hello? Hello? IntelliJ? Okay, just don't. Okay, whatever. And it also needs to permit. Do I have a conditional? Okay, I don't know why this isn't working. Let's fix this first. So this extends element value. What if I sealed or non-sealed? Oh, right. This can't be sealed. This can't be sealed. Because those have their own implementations beyond that. So that won't work. So that implements element value. Like that. And then also the other one was the conditional thing, which God knows where that is. Expression. Conditional expression. There you go. What the hell is that? No, whatever. Okay, so then what I can do is I can actually just return an element value. Right? So then everywhere where I do this, and then I can take this, take in an element value. I can make this take in an element value. And this already does that, right? Yes. Okay, so now that means I can just return parse annotation, because this returns an annotation, which is an element value. Voila. Would you look at that? So if we reach an at, then we pass an annotation immediately, because then that's the value, right? The annotation is the value. Then we can look for array initializers. Which we're probably going to want to extract later. And the thing is, it's slightly different than just a normal array initializer, isn't it? Let's try and cover that back on. Well, either way, we want to match a Java token type dot open brace. So what's this trying to do? List of values. If not, next is any close brace. Yeah, so it's kind of slightly different here. Like, this isn't just wait. So we've got a conditional expression. I guess that's not an element value, is it? See, really, it's an expression that's an element value. But we don't want to make all expressions element values. Because they're not, right? Or are they? Are they? Are all expressions element values? No, because like a this expression couldn't... Could it? Could it be? I guess so. Right? Like, if I had at deprecated, could I pass in this? It must be constant. Interesting. But technically, yes. I mean, it doesn't know what to do with that, but like, yes, kind of. It's like, that actually is working. Does that mean I could do like, could I do pass annotation? Kind of. Interesting. Are you planning on updating it to Java 25 when it releases? Probably, because Java 25 is easy, right? I don't remember what Java 25 adds, but I don't think it's much. What does Java 25 add? In terms of language features, I don't think it does much. So it improves the JFR. It improves the garbage collector. I think most things are just preview. Yeah, like scope values is in its 5th preview. Structured concurrency is 5th preview. The vector API is incubated. And then there's some improvements to the SDK. The only kind of thing that will affect this would be having statements before super and this, right? So like when you have a constructor, currently I can't put anything before the super, right? I can't do like pass because it's before the super, but in Java 25 you can do that. So that'll probably be the only thing, I think, in Java 25 that actually affects the parser at all. Because when we pass constructors, we'll now have to check the Java language level before we allow something before the super. But I think that's it. At least from what I can see. That's what Brave's telling me. I'm just using Brave's AI, but I assume it's correct. I'm just having a quick look at the JEPs to see if there's anything. I mean, Java 25 is pretty big. Like, there's a lot of like important things happening in Java 25, but just in terms of like the language itself and like parsing it, I don't think there's anything, to be honest. Yeah. Like, you got primitive types in patterns, instance of, and switch statements, but that's still in preview. So that's not. Would Jet 511 change anything? I don't think so. I don't know exactly how it works though. Let's have a look. Jet 511. Central. Oh, so you can import modules. Interesting. So that will actually be, yes, that will affect it. In fact, that even extends the grammar. JLS 7.5. I can show you guys actually. So it says here, it extends the grammar to include import module. But I mean, that should be trivial, right? It's just allowing you to put a module keyword before what you import. I mean, that's it, right? So it's just import module and then the module name. Resolving ambiguous imports. Yeah. I think that's it. Is there anything else that it does? No. That looks to be it. So that's fine. That won't really cause any issues at all. Anyways. We need to do... Yeah, so expression... Expression kind of needs to be an element value, but I hate that. I do hate that. Because whilst it's kind of true, it's also not true. I mean, I could extend AST node and element value, but that seems silly. I don't know. I think I'll just do that for now, but I'll probably come back to this. To do consider should extend element value directly. And then we can come back to that. Okay, and then that'll be fine, right? So if we match an open brace, then what we can do is we can get a list of element value, which will be the values is equal to a new array list. And then if the next is not a closing brace, we can do a do while loop. Yes, Copilot's actually correct here. So we just pass an element value, right? Whilst we're matching a comma. And then we expect a close brace. Now, the problem here is that we're returning an array initializer, which is not correct, right? I mean, I can do this. Kind of. That takes the span, and then it takes in list of either expression or array initializer. But that would require this to be an expression. So it can't be an array initializer. It has to be a special type of array initializer. Values dot is empty, then current span, or values dot get first dot span. No, so I just want to have the span at the start, right? This needs to be an element value array. And then we have span start. And we span from start and pass in the values. Yeah, I think. And then here I can just return element value to pass expression. We do need, however, an element value array. But that's just a span and a list of element values. So that's pretty simple. Let's create that real quick. So that's a record, which is a span, and a list of element value values, and this just implements element value. Only problem is that means it needs to be a node. Which, yeah, that's, I mean, just not copy of values, that's fine. That does mean we need to create a new thing for this. So let's come into here. Let's try and find the annotations. Element value array. Yeah, that's fine. And then we just need to create visit element value array. Visit element value array. Boom. That takes the span, takes the values. That should be fine, I think. I don't think there's any need to overcomplicate it. This... I think we can just do that. Rather than complicating this. We can technically just get rid of the annotation part here. Even though it's only used in annotations, but because we're calling this element value, it doesn't really make sense to call this pass annotation element value. That just seems silly. The next thing we have is has equals before comma or close parentheses. So let's do that. So private boolean. Does that take anything in? No. So how do we want to do this? We already have the current position, right? So what we can do is we can have an int offset, which will obviously start at 1 because we don't want the current one. Okay, Copilot, please go away. Thank you. And then we want a... We want a depth, right? Because we need to know how deep we are. And if we're too deep, then we know it's not going to work. So depth is equals 0 by default, right? Then we have a while true. Let's get the token type, Java token type. Look ahead is equal look ahead type, which will give us the look ahead. Okay, before I continue, I will quickly be right back. Alright, I am back. Let's turn the light on as well, so we can see. That's always a nice thing to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and one second. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So we need to see what the lookahead token is, right? So we can do a few if statements here. If lookahead is equal end of file, or lookahead is equal close parenthesis, and the depth is equal 0, return false. If lookahead is equals and depth is equal 0, return true. And then we need to check for like left parentheses, brackets, braces, because those will then increase the depth. So if lookahead is equal open parenthesis, or lookahead is equal open brace, or lookahead is equal open brackets, then we're just going to do depth plus plus. And then we'll do the opposite, right? So if lookahead is equal close parenthesis, or lookahead is equal close brace, or lookahead is equal close brackets, then we do depth minus minus, as long as depth is greater than 0, we do depth minus minus. And then we'll just offset the index, so offset plus plus. And then that'll be fine, right? So that should be that one done. Okay, then we have parse modular compilation unit is our next big thing. So let's create it, shall we? So what we will do is we will do, I don't know where to put it, I can't lie. It's a modular compilation unit, there you go. Let's do private modular compilation unit, Pass modular compilation unit, which is going to take in span, start span, list of annotations. This is the leading annotations. And then it also takes in a boolean is open. Okay. So the first thing we can do is expect the module, right? So expect Java token type dot module and say, Copilot, can you do this for me? Expected module. I think we can just keep it like that, actually. Then what we can do is we can pass the name of the module, which will be a qualified name because you have like module, like railroad dot something, right? So then what we can do is we can do name module name is equal pass qualified name. Then we can expect a left brace, so expect Java token type dot open brace, and Copilot, you can come back again. Okay, then we have a list of the directives. So a list of module directive is what I hope. Yes, it is. And then while we're not at a close brace, and we're not at the end, then we're going to pass the module directive. And then, do we need a semicolon? I think so, but we can probably just have that in pass module directive, right? I would say. I think that's reasonable. Actually, yeah, I think we should just have that inside pass module directive, actually. Well, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm kind of 50-50 on this, actually. I suppose we would never have a module directive without a semicolon. So in that case, I want to keep it in the module directive. But then we'll keep it outside, actually, for now. And then we can expect a close brace. And then we just basically return this, right? So return the span. What else does it take in? Whether or not it's open. So it is open. Then it takes in the name, which is the module name. Then it takes in the annotations. And then the directives, like that. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Next thing to do is to pass the actual module directives. So let's create a private module directive, pass module directive. We'll get the span start is equal current span. Yeah, and then basically we're just gonna have a bunch of if statements, as it kind of says. I don't know if Copilot's correct or not here. Should we try and see what it says? So if we do this, Let's just see if this works or not. If it errors or not. It actually looks to be maybe correct. Requires directive. Yeah, this doesn't take in annotations though. So I don't know why it's trying to do that. Requires directive, so it doesn't take that in. And then it takes in is static, is transitive, and then the module name. It was pretty close, actually. That was pretty close. Exports takes in the package name and module names. Yep, that's fine. Opens takes in package name, target modules, which is just a list of names. Uses takes in a name. Provides takes in a name and then a list of names. Yeah, because it provides with names, uses name, opens name to names, and then exports exports name to names, and then it requires it could be a static transitive module. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Copilot actually did a really good job there. I'm actually quite impressed. Yeah, so if it gets here, then it reports an error. Expected module directive. While not at end, and it's not a semicolon or a closed brace, then we advance. And then return null. Do we want to return null, though? That wants to return a requires directive. Is that the default of what it actually does? I don't know. I don't think that's correct, though. I think return null is fine. What did, what was it that did this? What was the thing that did this? Where we continued until... Oh, I know we found it. Oh, I see that. We just reported an error, and then whilst we're not at the end, we advance. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's fine. We really kind of need to return something here, though. Not null. Pass module director. So whilst the next is not a close brace and it's not at the end, then it passes a module directive. Yeah, so whilst we're not at the end and it's not a semicolon or a close brace, it advances. I mean, it should never really reach this. Expected valid module directive. Or I could say expected. Yeah, like that. I really don't like returns null though. What I could do is I could make this return an optional of a module directive. And then here, I can return optional.empty. I can wrap all of these. Like that. And then I can say .var. And then say module directive.if present. Or module directive opt is what I usually call my optionals. And then do that. Then we add it, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Okay. That should be okay. So in theory, we've now managed to pass a module file. And annotations as well, which is pretty neat, if I don't say so myself. That unfortunately probably is actually the easiest thing to pass, because we're not having to pass any expressions or statements or declarations or, you know, anything. But yeah, okay. Excited module or open module at start compilation unit. That's not true. Are you able to test this out or no? Technically, yes. The thing is, I'm kind of scared that the Lexa isn't going to work. I'm pretty confident what I have here will work. I'm not 100% confident in the Lexa. Even though in theory that should be the easiest part, just because there's so many kind of edge cases. I mean, we can try and test it though. What we can do is we can do a new class. And then we can do SST testing. So we can just have a main method in there. Sure, whatever. Let's create a string code. Sure. We'll do that for now. So first of all, we need to lex that, right? So we would create the Lexa of a Java token type. Java Lexa is equal a new Java Lexa. Guess I can actually just do like that, right? Which takes in the code. Why is this complaining? Used without tray of resources. That's true, yes. I'm just gonna call this the Lexa actually. So I'd like to lex it first. How do we do this? I guess we just use next token, right? So yeah, lexa.next token. Can I do a dot while? No. So while lexa.next token is not equal null. Token. While token is equal lexa.next token. Wait. Oh, wait. Wait, what? No. Wait. Token is not equal null. Remove. If token is equal null, break. Then we have the token. We print the token. Let's try this first of all. Just see what this does, right? It might not work. What do you guys think? Do you think it's gonna work? I mean, in theory, this is very simple to be lexed, so this should work. Let's see. You know, that doesn't look quite right. I've stopped the so flags end of file. Oh, so it never becomes null? I don't think. I think it just becomes an end of file token. I think it just becomes an end of file token. Yes, it does. It does. It does just become an end of file token. Okay. Let's try again. Okay. So we start with an identifier. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Immediately, I can see that's wrong. Because that shouldn't be an identifier. That should be a keyword. Okay, then it has a white space, which is apparently the white space is com.example.module. Okay. Right. This is not correct. I think it's partially because it's determined that module is an identifier, and I don't know why it's done that. Let's have a look. So implementation, Java Alexa. Okay, first of all, let's find white space. So here we go, read white space. So current is equal chart at pause. So if current is equal that or that, then we consume. It breaks. It should break if it's not that, right? Like this consumes. And white space is set to true. I actually don't know why the white space is doing that, but that's not the issue. Let's look at identifiers. So we'll go read default. Okay, here you go. So if character editor is Java identifier start, then we consume whilst it has all the things, right? So then it slices it, and then it says keywords dot get or default, or yeah, so it defaults to an identifier basically. Get or default. Let's look at the keywords again. Underscore keyword. So let's see if module underscore keyword does exist. Let's print this. Wait, you can't do that, can you? It's empty? name ends with underscore keyword. It should though. 1 second. Let's debug it. Huh? Equal values. There's no values? Why is there no values? Huh? Why is there no value? Let's do this. Let's do a list of Java token type, list keywords, return values. No, this needs to be, it does need to be .string, but it needs to be a raised .string like that. And then filter type.name.ends with keyword, and then I can change this to be list keywords. Maybe? I don't know though. Maybe I can't do it like that. Maybe I need to... The map.put type.name .to lowercase locale.root. I guess I can do this. So that'll get the keywords, goes through the values, blah 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 blah. And then I can get rid of this. Because I reckon that's the issue. Now this keyword says private access. Well, it shouldn't. The only issue is it does that every single time, and I'm not a fan of that. Let's create a map like this. You go a new hash map, and then let's say if it's not empty, then we just return keywords. And then what we can do is say keywords dot put all keywords. So basically a very simple cache. Let's see what that does. Okay, so that reads the module keyword. That's a good start. Then it reads a white space, which is correct. There is a white space there. The question is, why is it only finding a white space? So produce next. So trivia is equal read white space. So let's breakpoint this and figure out why it's only finding a white space, right? So current char current is equal m. Okay. So now current is a white space. So we consume it. Okay. So now current is... Oh. Current doesn't change. That's why. That's why. Because current has not changed. So what I need to do down here is I need to do current is equal char at pos. But pos hasn't changed, right? Oh no, it has, because consumers changed. think that will fix it. Okay, this looks better. So module keyword, then we have a white space, then we have an identifier, which is com. Let's just look at the code we have here. Then we have a dot, then we have an identifier, which is example, then we have a dot, then we have, well, that's technically correct, actually, yeah. It's complaining because that's dot module, but you can't have dot module, so we'll just call it dot modules. Because that actually wouldn't have been valid Java anyways. I saw an unknown in there. Yeah, there's an unknown. Okay, we'll come back to that one. So dot example dot modules, then we have a white space, then we have an open brace, and then after the open brace it has an unknown, which is interesting. It should be a white space. In fact, it's found a white space for the tab, but not for the \n. Oh, because it's only looking for \r. I see. Else if it's \n, then we need to do that, right? I think so. Let's try that. So module, white space, blah, 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 dot, 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 identifier, white space. Yes, now that's a white space. Then it's got requires, which is correct. That's a keyword. White space, identifier, dot, identifier, semicolon. White space, exports, white space, identifier, dot, package is also not correct, but that's fine. Then semicolon, white space, close brace, white space, and then obviously end file. Let's just fix the package one. Okay. So now we should be able to parse it as well. So I don't know if we can just do like Lexa dot. If we take a snapshot, so we do Lexa dot snapshot dot var, and then I think we can just restore to the snapshot, and then we can do Lexa restore to snapshot, and then we can do a new Java parser, which will take in our Lexa. So then we've got our parser, and then we're going to do AST is equal parser dot parse. So that would just be an AST node. Now we don't have a way to print an AST. That should also, yeah, do that, but that's fine. We can try printing the object, but I don't think that will work. I guess it might because they're records. We'll try it. Let's see. This is where it might error, but we'll see. So it's found a modular compilation unit. Okay. Okay. Then is open is false. It has a name. Now the name should be com.example.modules. Name, so it has a span, and then the parts, com, example, modules. Okay, this is sick. This is actually working. I wasn't sure if this will work or not, but it is actually working. So then we have the annotations, which there are not any. We have the directive. So we first have a requires directive. Yes, let's go. Is static, false. Is transitive, false. Module name, which will be Java base. It is. Then we have exports directive, which has the com.example.packages in theory. Yep, there it is, com.example.packages. And that's it. That's pretty sick. That is pretty sick. Now, I would love to print this as a tree. I don't know how to do that. What's the best way to do that? Does anyone know? Yeah, I mean, that's worked first try, right? Lexa didn't work first try. It worked almost first try, granted, but not quite first try. But the parser, that worked first try. It's just Alexa that didn't. I mean, we might find that we can probably make it not work. Like if I do at deprecated, this doesn't have to be valid Java, it just has to be valid syntax, right? So we could say like boop is equal at suppress warnings all or something. Let's try that, see what that does. This might also break the Lexa, but we'll see. It didn't like that. It's got stuck. The Lexa's got stuck, actually. I think. I assume. Unless the parser is recursively doing something. I should probably check Task Manager to see if my memory is filling up. In fact, no, it would Stack Overflow, right? Because what? No, it hasn't finished the. Yeah. So what's it done then? So it's got to at. Okay, let's go through it. So we've got at, then we've got an identifier which is deprecated, then we've got an open parenthesis, then we got an identifier which is boop, then we have the white space, then we have a sign. Yeah, that's fine. Then we have white space, then we have at, identifier, suppress warnings, open parenthesis. It's the string. It's the string. Okay. I wasn't sure about strings. First of all, where the hell is this ignore token? So, if current is equal that, it pushes mode string, push mode string, and then it returns ignore token. Okay. So then the mode should now be mode string. What happens if I pause it? Can I pause it right now? No. Okay. Let's stop it then. And let's figure out what the hell it's doing. So let's debug. Once again, the issues here are with the Lexa. So far, of course. We haven't got to the parser yet. In fact, the parser won't be able to parse that with it because it doesn't know how to parse a string. Yeah, it doesn't know how to parse a string, actually. So, we're not going to be able to parse that. I just realized that. We can try something a little bit simpler, but yeah, we're not quite going to be able to parse that one. So we can assume if it has next, it gets the current char, which is A. Okay. It doesn't consume. It should consume here, right? After it escapes it, it needs to consume it? Or am I crazy? Why is Copilot not suggesting that? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it needs to consume. Let's see what that does. Okay, that actually did finish. So what did that do? Okay, not quite. That didn't quite work either. Let's see what that's done. So consume, so current is equal A. Yeah. Oh, because I'm not setting... No, I don't need to set current, do I? No, I don't need to set current. I don't think. Current is now equal L. So now current should be equal L again. And then current will be that. So it will consume it. Right? So then it's string literal, that ends, right? Oh, you know what it needs to do? It needs to pop mode. That's why. And I think it needs to do that in here as well. So that should pop the mode. This should also do that as well. When it returns unterminated strings. Well, actually no, it shouldn't. Should it? Yes, I think it should. It should. Anything that it returns, it needs to pop the mode. So here as well, needs to become pop mode. I think. I'm not 100% confident, but I think so. I don't know why I debugged that. I just want to run it normally. See what that does. So identifier, open parenthesis, string literal of all. Then it has a close parenthesis. And then a close parenthesis again. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Then it has a white space, module, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what happens here? So it's null. Interesting. Is that correct? Actually, I actually want to quickly just move that here. So then we can see the end of file token as well. Should it be returning null? I don't think so. Right? Let's see. So let's get rid of this. No, I want to get rid of you. Oh, how do I get rid of it? But go away. But how do I get rid of the breakpoint? Guys, please. Let me get rid of it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Don't care about that. What? Oh. I see. Triggers the span. So if next is at, it matches at, So then it passes an annotation. Okay. So then it should pass the name, which is deprecated. Okay, so then it expects an open parenthesis. The next will not be that. If it does not have equals or comma, value. Value is null. But that should be fine. Right? And then it expects that. So then that returns a single member annotation. Yes. I guess. Oh, I guess what it's done is because it hasn't read the expression, it means that it hasn't moved past. So the next element or the next node is actually this, right? It's an identifier followed by an equals, followed by an at, followed by an identifier, rather than it moving down to module, because it doesn't know how to understand this entire thing because we haven't done expressions. So yeah, where are we right now? Yeah, I see. Okay. So we can't actually test that right now because we don't have expressions. We need expressions to test that. So... But that's good enough, right? I'm pretty happy with what we have so far there. Obviously, the next thing to do is to do actual classes, right? I guess we can do that now. We don't have a huge amount of time until we're going to end the stream, but in the time that we do have, we might as well. So, the best next thing to do, I would say, we need to know if we have a package declaration. Now, a package declaration is optional, right? We don't have to have one. So, create an optional of a package declaration, like that. Yes, if the next is a package keyword, then we're going to match the package keyword. We're going to get the name, and then we're going to expect a semicolon, and then that'll be equal to a new package declaration, which takes in the name, which should be an actual name. I don't know why that's not a name, because that should be a name, and that's actually kind of very important that it will be a name. There you go. Yep, that's fine. So that's the package declaration. Pretty simple. Now, if we had leading annotations, we need to have a package declaration, right? Because you can't do like an annotation on an import or an annotation elsewhere. It has to be on a package declaration. Right, because it couldn't be on the class, because the only way it could be on the class is if you were importing it, right? So it would have to be... Yeah, and we know that we don't have imports before the package declaration, therefore it has to be on a package declaration if we have leading annotations. So what we can say is we can say else if leading annotations dot is empty, or if it's not empty, I guess, because we want to know if we have them or not. Then we want to say package annotations are not allowed without a package declaration. No, that's horrible wording. What? Top level annotations are only allowed on a package or module declaration. And then clear the leading annotations. Okay, then we can do the imports. Imports are going to be super simple, I think. At least for now. It will be a pain in the butt in a minute, but we'll get to that. So while next is any import keyword, I say we do yeah, we do imports add pass import declaration, right? Because these, yeah, they're going to be a little bit complex because we do actually have wildcards and static imports. So pass import declaration. Let's create the span start is equal current span. We expect the import keyword, of course, needless to say. And then what do we have afterwards? So let's disable completions for a second. The next thing we want to do is we want to look for a static, right? That's the next possible thing. So boolean is static is equal match Java token type dot static keyword, because then we know it's a static import. And then we pass a name, right? Now, yeah. So we need to pass a name. But it could end with a star. In theory. Right? And can you import... Can you do import like a.b.c. No, I meant like this. I guess you can if it's a class, right? If I'm doing like .foo, .star, then yes. So, what we need is we need to change past qualified name. I'm going to create an overload for this. And this will just return past qualified name, which will do false. And then I'm going to say in here, boolean allow, allow trailing dot. So by default it will not, but then we can choose to do that. So in here what we can do is we can say allow trailing dot. If we do, no, if we don't, then we just expect it. Else we have to say We can't do match, right? Because match doesn't give us what we want. We want to do... Let me bring Copilot, because I don't know what the method is. Select any of identifier dot. Identifier or dot expected after dot. No. If not allow trailing dot, then identifier is equal expect. Else if the next is a dot, then we report it. Else if the next is EOF, then we break. Else identifier is equal expect identifier. No. Else we just want to break. Like that. I think. Unless I'm crazy. Although we need to know if it ends with a dot. Can I do previous? Previous. But that doesn't actually go back, does it? No. Can I go back? Yeah. This is kind of complicated, huh? Because we don't want to match for a dot, because the problem with match is it consumes it. We have to say next is any. Then we consume so advance, which consumes the dot. If next is dot, then we advance. No. No. Else we consume the dots. Next is not an identifier. Should the dot be part of the name? I guess that's the question. Should the dot be part of the name? I guess it should, right? So if next is not an identifier, then we add the dot and we break. And then identifier will be equal to expect identifier. If it's not an identifier. No, if it is an identifier. Wait, so if it's not an identifier, we add the dot. Else it is an identifier. Yes. So we do that. So if we allow the trailing... No, if we don't allow the trailing dot, then we advance. No, this isn't right. This isn't right. What's this going to try and do? Advance, which consumes the dot. If next is an identifier, then we advance, add the part. And so if we're allowing a trailing dot and the next is a dot, But this would always be true though, right? Because we're not advancing, so the next is a dot. Oh no, because we're consuming the dot. So we consume the dot. But we don't want to consume the dot. That's the issue, right? That's kind of the problem, because if we consume the dot, the problem with that is that we then don't know in here if we have a dot or not. Name is equal pass qualified name allow training dot. I guess we could just change this to be allow star, but there's no way to know from the name that it's a star. I'm actually curious in here. Wait, is this what I'm thinking? Yeah. This is actually kind of hard. Let's go back to what we had before real quick. Maybe using this I can kind of come up with something. I think our best bet wait, what does this do if it encounters? So if this is the pain friggin' point. This is the problem. Can I just get rid of that? That's the question. I mean, can I... If I do this, right? Then this whole method... I think we're going to have to create two methods to pass the name. I think that's the only way to do this. We're going to have one that allows stars and one that doesn't. Unless I just allow stars in here. Like, I could, I guess, but I need to know what type of import it is, right? Or do I? Wait, do I? I should probably check, shouldn't I? Import. Is it an import statement or import declaration? I think it's a declaration. Declaration. Import declaration. Yeah, see, I have a boolean is wildcard, which I actually don't think is the right terminology, but yeah, that's not the right terminology, is it? I think they're called what are they called? They have a name. I mean, I think you can call them wildcard imports, but I don't know that that's technically what they're called. Let me Google it. Wildcard import Java. Let's see if they're in the JS specification. Java language specification. Huh. Ah, they're called on-demand import. On-demand import. Ah, I didn't know that's what they were called. I knew they had a different name. I didn't know that's what they were called though. I'm just not sure how to... Let me have a look at it again. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Past qualified name. So it's while it matches a dot, but this consumes the dot. So the problem is, unless I do like, if next is any dot and look ahead is equal star. What's star? I probably have it multiply, don't I? Probably shouldn't be called multiply. Let's call it what's it actually called? Is it actually just called a star? Or does it have an actual name? I'm gonna call it star for now. But it probably has an actual name, right? Anyways, in that case, I want to just break. So if next is a dot and look ahead 1 is a star, then we're going to break. And that what that means is that what's these errors? Error. Missing return. Oh, right, of course. That's fine. Yeah, those are both fine. Okay. So we can get the name. Boolean is asterisk. So if match dot, then we expect a star. Right? So is on demand. That's fine. And then we expect a semicolon. And then we return import declaration, which will take in the... Why is that a string again, bro? There's a name. Didn't I fix this already? Oh no, I fixed it for package declaration. Okay. We're gonna have this a few places, I think. So then that just takes in the name, which is the import name, although that's just the name, really. And then is static and is on demand, of which I will rename this to is on demand. I prefer is wildcard, I can't lie. I think everyone just is probably more familiar with that. Is wildcard. And then did I use that in here or no? Where is it? Yeah. Okay. That's fine then. Okay. That's fine. So, that's the import declarations. Now, after the import declaration, what do we have after import declarations? I guess we have the class, right? I think it has to be. I think it has to be. So we have to have a list of type declaration, which is the type declarations. And then while we're not at the end of the file, we're gonna do if match a Java token type dot semicolon, because obviously you can have say straight semicolons anywhere in Java, because Java moment. And then we can do type declaration type is equal, and we can use our try parse method. E dot parse top level type declaration. Now, if the type is not equal null, we can add it, else we can report an error, unexpected token in compilation unit, and then we can synchronize. Do we have? We do. Okay, good. And if we are not at the end, then we just want to advance, I think. And then I think that's actually it, right? Once we've done all that, we have our type declaration. So I just import this. So that's the package declaration, a list of imports, and then a list of type declarations. So then obviously we have to pass the top level declaration, which is a little bit more complicated, of course. But we'll come back to this. Return null. To continue here. And I think that is going to be it for this stream. We have an error though. What's that? Top level type deck. What's wrong with that? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why this is even here. Let's just do that. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this stream. Obviously next time we'll come back and we will continue with this parser. we'll start passing type declarations, so classes, interfaces, enums, annotations, records, those kind of things. But yeah, that's going to be it for this stream. We have been going for 3 hours, and I feel like we've made a lot of progress today. Usually I'm like 50-50 on whether we've made a lot of progress. Today I feel like we've done a lot, right? We've written all of this today, which is like a lot of the parser. Not all of it, we still have quite a lot to do. This is probably like 5% of it, but that's still quite a lot. So I'm pretty happy with this. So I think we'll go ahead and end it here. Obviously, you know, like, subscribe. Probably won't be another stream until Saturday next week, I don't think. But there will be videos, so expect those coming out soon. I've got some tutorials coming out. But yeah, I will see you all, you know, whenever the next thing is. So yeah, goodbye.